Hello everybody, and thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Stephanie Venturino, and I teach music theory and oral skills at the Eastman Community Music School. And I'm even more excited to tell you about the ECMS's first ever online course offering entitled AP Music Theory, and it's going live this fall. This course is specifically designed for high school students who are looking to take the AP Music Theory exam and will focus on musical literacy, oral development, and analytical training. Throughout the course, students will be engaging with a variety of asynchronous learning activities. They'll be looking at instructor videos, so just like this one, let me show you. You'll see music, you'll hear the piano, you'll see me. I'll talk about all different types of musical topics. You'll also be doing oral skills exercises, multimedia quizzes, online music theory worksheets, and analysis discussions with your peers. In addition, there will be AP-specific review and tips and tricks throughout the course. And finally, there'll be weekly synchronous review sessions on Zoom where we'll talk about this week's materials, we'll do extra practice, we'll work on oral skills, all sorts of activities to make you really familiar with and comfortable with all the material for the AP Music Theory exam. So I'm really excited about this course offering this fall, and I can't wait to see you online as your course instructor. So here's just a little bit of a glimpse at what one of those instructional videos that you'll see in the course will be like. This topic is on beaming in compound meter, and I hope you enjoy. Hello everybody, and welcome to this video. I'm Stephanie Venturino, and I'm really glad you've joined me as we continue our exploration of music theory together. In today's video, we'll be talking about rhythmic notation and compound meter, particularly beaming. So here's the beginning of a piece we've looked at before. This is J.S. Bach's Partita in E major, the Gigue. And I'm just going to play this for you to refresh your memory. And then after, we're going to do some serious work with beaming here. It looks pretty messy right now. But just to remind you, here's the opening of Paul Odette playing this partita. There we go. Now, if you were sight reading this, I don't think you would be too happy. It looks pretty messy, right? So we need to do some serious work in beaming in this compound meter. Now, when we were beaming in simple meter, remember we were always trying to beam according to the beat. That same rule goes for compound meter. We still want to beam according to the beat. Now, let's just refresh our memories on 6/8. What is the beat in 6/8? Remember, a meter signature in compound meter is not talking about the beat. It's actually talking about the beat division, the division of the beat. So remember, last time we said, okay, this 6/8 means that there are 6 eighth note divisions of the beat per measure. So I'm just going to write those down. And then we didn't just leave it there. We said, oh, we could group those in threes. Remember, because we're thinking like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that grouping in threes or that ternary division in compound meter. So we can actually group them to say, okay, here's our divisions, and they are grouped in threes. Let me erase this here. And then each one of those groups, so for example, this group equals one beat, one dotted quarter beat. So this is my beat, and then this is my division. So we can say in 6/8 we're dealing with a compound duple because we have 2 beats, these 2 beats right here, compound duple meter. So that means we want to group our notes in a way that shows the dotted quarter note beat here in 6/8. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that. So we start in this melody. We don't actually start with a full measure. We start with an anacrusis or a pickup. So let's not worry about that. That's going to be separate. But in our next measure, we're trying to find how can we group them to show that dotted quarter note beat? So remember, a dotted quarter note is also the same as 3 eighth notes. So that might be a helpful way of sort of thinking about this. So let's take a look. 1/8 note. This is looking promising. Second eighth note. Third eighth note. So actually I could draw a bracket and say those 3 eighth notes together belong to the same dotted quarter note beat. That means all of those eighth notes could actually be beamed together, and that would be very clarifying because they all belong to that same dotted quarter note beat. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to erase the flags here, and I'm going to beam all of these nicely together, and I'm going to show a bit of a descent there. The beam, slant it there. Okay, that looks so much better. They're showing the dotted quarter note beat. Now let's keep going. Zoom out here. Okay, we have a bunch of these 16th notes. Let's again see how they could possibly group into a dotted quarter. So 2 16ths equal 1/8, 2 16ths equal 1/8, and 2 16ths, aha, equal 1/8. So again, we could say that those 3/8, right, 3/8 equal 1 dotted quarter, that all of this material actually is under the same dotted quarter note beat. So we could beam all of it together. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these lovely flags here. Now what about my stem directions? Because I have several different stem directions going on here. Which one is going to determine the stem direction? Let me let you think about that for a second. It's going to be this one, right? Remember the X marks the spot. Which one is the farthest away from that third line? So the E is going to determine the stem direction. So I'm going to erase these stems on here and put them up. Probably will need a little bit extra room there. And I am going to beam all of those together. This may look weird to you, but they actually all fall under the same dotted quarter note beat. So that looks already, let me zoom out, way simpler to read. You can really see how the beat falls. Okay, let's keep going. We have a little bit more to do, one more measure here. Okay, again, we're looking for that dotted quarter note beat. So we have 2 16ths, that equals 1/8. Ah, then we have 1/8, and then we have 1/8. So that means that whole section is going to be under the same beat. So there we go there, same dotted quarter note beat. So I can beam all of those together. Thankfully, all of my stem directions are going down here, right? That's very nice. So I have 2 16ths, doing a slight slant there, 2 16ths, 2 8ths, looks beautiful. And then you might have noticed that I actually have right here, this is the same exact rhythm as just before, what I just had. So the only thing that's different here is that I do have different stem directions. So think about that for a second. They're all going to be determined by this one in this case. So I need to change some stem directions here. They're all going to go down. Oops, I forgot that flag at the end. There we go. Very nice. And that's all again under that same dotted quarter beat. Beautiful. So that looks way easier to read. At least I think so. I would much rather read that version that's nicely beamed, that's showing the beat, than I would sort of the messy, just seeing all of the notes separately there. So it's very important to think about how we beam in compound meter. The same exact rule applies as in simple meter. We want to beam according to the beat. Now in compound meter, because of the nature of the meter signature, what it's telling us about the division, right? That figuring out the beat is going to be on us. We have to figure out what the beat is, and then we have to beam according to that beat. So there's like a little bit of extra work involved when you're trying to beam according to the beat in compound meter. Okay, that's it for today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Till then,